Hello and welcome to round 8 of the 2025 Super Formula One World Championship, the Barcelona Grand Prix. We are here in Spain at Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. The 2.9-mile, 14-turn racetrack is also part of the Formula One calendar, and we return to it once again using the no chicane layout in use since 2023. Let's get set to go and take a look at the starting grid.
Starting at the back, Nico Hülkenberg starts 20th alongside Oliver Bearman in 19th, Yuki Tsunoda starts 18th alongside Carlos Sainz in 17th. Esteban Ocon starts 16th alongside Franco Colapinto in 15th, and then Gabriel Bortoleto in P14 alongside Lance Stroll in P13, behind Alexander Albon and Liam Lawson in P12 and 11. Fernando Alonso and Isaac Hadjar start inside the points. Kimi Antonelli in 8th and Charles Leclerc P7. Pierre Gasly with his best start in P6 alongside Lewis Hamilton in P5, and then Max Verstappen P4 and Oscar Piastri P3 on the second row. Finally, Lando Norris starts second with George Russell back on pole position.
And we are underway from Barcelona on this long run down towards turn 1, and Piastri got a good launch. He's trying to get beside Norris as down into turn 1 they go, and the McLarens go side by side, but Norris on the inside keeps second place as Russell defends the lead, but Norris is coming at him on the inside through turn 3, and Lando Norris takes the lead of the race, having better grip and sending it up the inside on George Russell, and Russell will have to settle in behind. That's 2 weeks in a row now. Norris making a first lap overtake for the lead, this time in turn 3 as Verstappen defends from Hamilton. And now as it stands, Norris, Russell, Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton, your top 5. Gasly, Antonelli, Leclerc, Alonso further back. Down into turn 1, Piastri almost draws ahead of Norris, but was just in the middle there and had to back out, and then Norris on the inside of George Russell up to turn 3. He just had the better grip, and Russell left the inside open, and Norris goes straight through. Pierre Gasly, his best start this year in 6th, but he'll be under pressure from Kimi Antonelli down into turn 1. Antonelli's got the inside, and he's into 6th. But Gasly comes back at him. But that inside line just has more grip right now, and Antonelli keeping P6. Russell down into turn 10 with Piastri, and Piastri under braking gets that move done, and Russell didn't seem to fight that one much, but he's already got Verstappen looking for a way behind as the pole sitter now has lost 2 places in this first stage of the race. Lando Norris leads his McLaren run 1-2 again, and it didn't take him long at all to get this lead. But now Oscar Piastri looks to be drawing closer to his teammate now down to turn 1 with the inside line. Oscar Piastri jumps into the lead of the race now. No team orders from McLaren. They're letting their 2 race, and race they are. Oscar Piastri probably driving with a bit of extra motivation considering how last week at Alsace played out. He'll be certain to stay ahead this time. George Russell is reeling right now because Verstappen is threatening the strike here in a turn 10, and he will go for the move. Into 3rd goes Verstappen, and the pole sitter is now off the podium. The Spaniard running in 9th in front of his fellow countryman Carlos Sainz behind, and Sainz may have a chance at a move here on the way down the front straight, as it looks like Albon going for a move on Ocon behind these 2 and up into 11th. But here we go, Sainz has got the positioning, and he's going to try to pull ahead through 1 and 2. But Alonso will come back at him on the way up to 3, and look at Albon arriving onto the scene and putting pressure on Alonso. Alonso stuck in a Williams sandwich as Sainz gets ahead, and now Albon and Alonso side by side down into turn 4, braking at the same time, wheel to wheel the entire way around the corner, but Albon pulls ahead, and now both Williams through on Fernando Alonso and into the points. McLaren McLaren's 1-2 is not safe this week. Verstappen hanging with both up front. He's going to go for the move on Lando Norris down in the turn 10. He's got that move gone, and now splitting the two McLarens out front. Leclerc's going to be under immense pressure from Albon on the exit of 14 as Albon pulls alongside, and I believe he is ahead. Yes, fully ahead, coming down the main straight. But look at what this is doing for Sainz. Sainz is getting a good tow from Albon here. Sainz pulling up and ahead of his former teammate Leclerc. And Williams using their own teamwork to move up the field. That was executed perfectly. And now they run P6 and 7 and ahead of a Ferrari. Verstappen now pressuring Piastri down the turn 4 as down the inside goes Verstappen and into the lead goes the Red Bull. And that is not something we were expecting coming off the recent McLaren dominance we've seen. But Verstappen has come from 4th at the start and has picked off everyone else ahead one by one. And now Norris looks to be a lot closer to Piastri than he has been in the early stages of this race since being passed earlier. He's likely going to have a run down into turn 10. And no, he's there before they even get out of turn 9. Lando Norris going wheel to wheel, side by side with his teammate Piastri. Will have to go the long way round on the outside, but he does exactly that. And so Piastri losing out directly to his teammate again. Norris into second as Piastri has lost 2 places on this lap. And McLaren are going to call him in to make his first stop now. They're telling him to box, and that is the best thing they can do with him losing time like this. There he goes into the pit lane. Piastri is racing Verstappen out the pits here for the net race lead. There's Verstappen emerging from the pit lane, and this will be insanely close into turn 1. Piastri's ahead. Verstappen can be late on the brakes, but he can't stay ahead, and Piastri's undercut will be successful when the rest pit. Great choice by McLaren. Norris on his way out now, and I think McLaren left him out there far too long because he comes out in just 7th where he probably should be in the top 4. Now he's just ahead of Hamilton, but he should be with the front runners. Max Verstappen going back for the lead here, and he will have it coming out of turn 10. Piastri has held station since they left the pits. With Piastri pitting first, and now will be taking the race lead again by an undercut down the pit straight. And look at how much further back Verstappen is. This time he's entering turn 1, and Piastri is almost out of turn 3 by now. Albon wants ahead of his teammate Sainz, but the team will let them race to the end here. Albon has been quicker, and that is evidenced by that move there. Some contact between the two Williams, but Albon is through and into 6th. There will be a 3rd round of stops in this race, but Verstappen is catching Piastri before that for the 2nd time this afternoon. Piastri struggling towards the end of stints, and Verstappen from a way back and around turn 5 sends it down the inside. Late on the brakes and into the lead again goes Max Verstappen. He has battled a McLaren undercut all day and has overcome it now twice. Russell hasn't had blistering pace from pole today. Albon now down the front straight and into 5th place goes the Williams, weaving in defense, but Russell won't fight it. He has just struggled all afternoon, and that struggle continues down in 6th from pole. Norris into his pit box. Mercedes have Russell entering his pit box as well, but now they'll get passed by Hamilton and Gasly, Lawson, all coming across next with fresh tires. There they go into turn 1, and Norris will appear behind them down in 8th now. Russell next, and he's passed by Ocon and Hadjar here. It has not been the ideal day for the two Brits, but it has to be especially bad for George Russell. He's now outside of the points, and it's all been because of a poor pit strategy. Oh, Mercedes informing Antonelli he won't make it to the end of the race on those tires. He's coming in the pit and surrendering a would-be podium for the 3rd time in his young career. but instead that leaves Alex Albon in third, and now he will likely take third here. It would be his second career podium after third place from pole at Monza in 2023. George Russell trying to salvage anything from this race. He's going down the inside of Behrman here, and he will re-enter the points, taking what would be first career points for Behrman. Max Verstappen, lapping his own teammate now for the second time, has come alive in Spain today. He leads by over 50 seconds now. He won this race in 22, was out of the points in 23 and in 24. He hasn't won this season since round 1. Max Verstappen comes home to win the Barcelona Grand Prix for the second time in his career. But we still have action on track. 3 cars wide down into turn 1. It's Norris and Antonelli going at it. Antonelli is ahead, but Norris is coming back at him. Antonelli will hold on to 6th place up the hill, and Norris may have to settle for 7th. There is still time left though to make a move on this lap. Kimi Antonelli exits turn 9, putting the pressure on Pierre Gasly. Norris is there as well, down into turn 10. Antonelli may have touched Gasly there, very minimal, but he's through. And Lando Norris will follow him through, as even the Racing Bulls going side by side there, and Hadjar looks to be the lead RB, then Lawson, and then there's George Russell for the last points positions, and Russell is still looking for an opening. Down into the final corner, Russell's got it. He's got the move into 9th at the line. So that'll do it from Barcelona. Max Verstappen make that 2-time winner here. And to top it all off, he takes the fastest lap, 52 seconds into the lead. Total domination from him today as Oscar Piastri takes back-to-back second place finishes. But the third place step belongs to Alexander Albon, both his and Williams' second podiums in SF1 history. Lewis Hamilton did well to take 4th. Antonelli did well to take 5th, ahead of Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly once again in the points. And Isaac Hadjar in 8th, with pole sitter George Russell splitting the 2 RBs, Lawson taking a point. Oliver Behrman nearly took his first points today. Charles Leclerc once again out of the points, nothing going right for him. And both hometown drivers Sainz and Alonso walking away without points today. Max Verstappen now 11 points off of championship leader Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri still in 3rd. Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Antonelli leapfrogging George Russell in the standings. And Albon draws much closer to his teammate and now both ahead of Tsunoda. Here's another look at the constructors as McLaren still lead from Mercedes and Ferrari, then Red Bull. Williams creating much more space between themselves and the Racing Bulls. That'll do it from Barcelona. Max Verstappen returning to the top step. We'll see you next week for the very first time at St. Croix for round 9. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then on Project SF1.